You think farming is peaceful? Fresh air, sunshine, simple life. Try waking up in 1300. No shoes, no breakfast, and no freedom. You've got 1 ox, a broken plough, and 6 days to feed your lord before you feed yourself. Welcome to medieval farming, where comfort doesn't exist and survival is the only crop you grow. You wake up before dawn. Not because you're disciplined, but because the rooster's been screaming since 3 a.m. and there's smoke in your lungs. Your entire house, all 2 rooms of it, smells like damp straw, manure, and the faint sweetness of moldy grain. You're lying on a straw mattress that's mostly dust and fleas. The blanket? Wool, rough enough to exfoliate your back. Your breath turns white in the air because there's no chimney, just a hole in the roof that lets out smoke and occasionally rain. Outside, it's still dark. The frost crunches. Somewhere nearby, your neighbor's cow coughs like a dying man. You've got 3 priorities today. Don't starve, don't freeze, and don't make your lord angry. You roll off the mattress and splash your face with whatever water didn't freeze overnight. If you're lucky, your wife's already stirred the ashes and boiled something that barely counts as breakfast. Thin barley porridge or a slice of yesterday's bread dipped in weak ale. Ale is safer than water. It also tastes like slightly sour sadness, but at least it doesn't kill you. There's no time to enjoy it. You've got a few hours of daylight to spend on your lord's land before you're allowed to touch your own. The ox is waiting. A big, dumb creature that's more stubborn than you are. You strap on your 1 pair of shoes made from leather that's seen too many winters and head outside. The plough's already half broken because wood rots faster than you can replace it. You push, curse, and sweat while the ox moves at the speed of despair. Every step sinks into cold mud. The wind cuts through your tunic like a knife. You thought modern jobs were hard? Try working 10 hours to grow food you don't get to keep. You'll plow until your hands bleed, stop to pick rocks from the field, then keep going because stopping means falling behind. By mid-morning, your back aches like you've been beaten with a club. The sun finally rises, weak and distant. Your children are out gathering firewood or chasing the pig that keeps escaping through the same hole in the fence you've patched 5 times. Lunch doesn't exist. You grab a crust of bread, chew slowly, and pretend it's enough. You look up at the sky, grey again, and wonder if the weather will ruin the harvest. If it does, you'll go hungry. Not metaphorically, literally. You take 1 deep breath, smell manure and wet soil, and push the plow again. It's only 10 a.m. You've already been awake for 7 hours, and you're not even halfway through the day. You keep working. There's no choice. The fields don't care about your back, and the soil doesn't care that your hands are bleeding. You start with your lord's land, not your own. You're a serf, which means you owe him labor before you feed your family. He gets the best acres near the river. You get the patch of dirt where nothing grows straight. You plow, weed, and haul sacks of grain that aren't yours. If you're slow, the steward notices. The steward always notices. The word weekend hasn't been invented yet. Every day looks the same except Sunday, when you go to church to thank God for another 7 days of exhaustion. Your tools are simple. A wooden plow, a hoe, a scythe that's more rust than metal. The iron parts were expensive, probably borrowed. Every time something breaks, you think about how long it'll take to convince the blacksmith to fix it for credit. Your meals are as repetitive as the work. Barley, cabbage, and whatever your wife can pull from the ground. Meat is for festivals, fish if you live near a river. You eat fast because time is food, and you never have enough of either. When the sun's high, you pause for a moment. Sweat stings your eyes. The air smells of mud. manure, and smoke drifting from distant cottages. You can hear other families working too. The creak of wheels, the slap of wet soil, a child crying because he dropped a loaf into the dirt. You don't look up much. There's no point. Every hour lost is a handful of grain less come harvest. And when the harvest comes, the church takes its tithe, the Lord takes his share, and you get what's left, if you're lucky. Sometimes the weather kills the crop. Too much rain, too little, or a surprise frost. The priest says it's God's will, but you suspect God's never tried farming with one ox and a broken plough. By evening, your arms are shaking, you drag the ox back to its pen, scrape the mud from your feet and hope there's enough firewood left to warm the house. You smell like earth, smoke and failure, but at least you're still alive. For now, inside your family eats by candlelight. The youngest coughs through dinner. The oldest already talks about next year's planting. You sit in silence. There's nothing left to say. Tomorrow you'll wake before dawn again, because the soil doesn't rest, and neither do you. You wake up sore. Again. Every joint aches like it's been hammered. You cough once, twice, and hope it's not something serious, because there's no such thing as serious but treatable here. Medicine doesn't exist. Not the kind you're thinking of. There's a woman in the village who knows about herbs. She'll mash up plants, mumble a prayer, and hope the saints are listening. If that doesn't work, people say it's God's punishment or bad air. Or maybe you didn't pray enough. You can't afford to get sick anyway. A few days in bed means the weeds win. The crops don't wait for recovery, so you drag yourself outside and keep working, fever or not. Bathe. Rare. Water's cold and hard to hold, so you wash your face, maybe your hands, and call it good. Clothes don't get washed. They just reach a new stage of dirt. Everyone smells like sweat, smoke, and livestock, so no one notices. Your teeth are rotting. You don't even know it's a problem. Everyone's breath smells like the same mix of ale and decay. The only dentist around is a blacksmith, and his tool for everything is a pair of pliers. Then there's infection. A splinter can turn into a funeral. You slice your hand on a scythe, wrap it in cloth, and hope it doesn't go black. If it does, you'll die slowly and painfully. And just when you think it can't get worse, the plague arrives. You hear rumors from the next village. People coughing blood, dropping dead in the streets. The priest says it's the wrath of God again. But that explanation loses power when he's the next one to go. It moves fast. 1 week you're burying your neighbor. The next, there's no one left to dig graves. Families lock themselves inside their huts and wait. You pray. You cross yourself, you try not to breathe too deeply. If you survive, life changes. Not better, just quieter. There are fewer people, but the same amount of land. For a brief moment, food is easier to find. Meat shows up on the table more often. Then the population starts rising again, and so does the hunger. You keep working. Keep coughing, keep hoping it's just a cold this time. Your back hurts, your vision's fading, and your hands are full of scars. But you tell yourself you're lucky. You're still breathing. And in the Middle Ages, that's the only real luxury. The sun's gone, and the village is quiet except for dogs barking and someone coughing through the night. You sit by the fire, really just a smoky pile of half-burnt woodman, and stare at the wall. You've survived another day. That's all anyone expects of you. The church bell rings every morning and every Sunday, telling you when to pray, when to work, and when to stop working so you can pray again. God is everywhere. In the field, in the weather, in the pain in your back. You don't question it. You can't. Doubt isn't a hobby people keep long. The priest says heaven will reward the humble and obedient. That helps you sleep sometimes. You've given the church 1/10 of your harvest, a few eggs, maybe a chicken, and a lifetime of belief. In return, you get hope, the cheapest comfort on earth. Your whole life fits inside a circle smaller than a modern town. You were born here, you'll die here, and the only travel you'll ever do is walking behind that ox. You've never seen the sea, never seen a map, never seen yourself in a mirror that wasn't a bowl of water. Your fears are simple but constant: famine, plague, winter, and sin. You can't control any of them, so you learn not to think about them much. You work until you're too tired to worry. Sometimes there's a festival. The Lord throws a feast, and for one night you eat meat, drink strong ale, and laugh. But the next morning, it's back to the same mud, the same fields, the same endless repetition. When you finally die, probably in bed, probably coughing, there is no tombstone, no obituary, no memory outside your family. You'll be buried in a shallow grave behind the church, marked by a wooden cross that won't last the next winter. By next spring, someone else will be living in your hut, plowing the same ground, chasing the same dream of a good harvest. Your name will vanish, but your work won't. The field remembers you. The dirt you turned, the seeds you planted, the calluses on your hands, all of it becomes part of the next farmer's life. You wouldn't last a week as a medieval farmer, not because you're weak, but because they didn't live. They endured. Every sunrise was a test, every night a small victory, and when they prayed for heaven, what they really wanted was just one day without hunger, cold, or fear. That day never came, but still they got up when the rooster screamed.